Hello everyone, this is Kestrel Raptorial. I'm sorry you can't see my face. I'm using a pretty pathetic little computer camera on an old computer. I really don't have much equipment with which to make videos. I hope that will change soon. In a couple months I am going to be moving again if everything plans out as I'm trying to plan it out. And I think I'm gonna get a tutoring job, maybe a couple little jobs on the side to try to get my life going a bit further. In the meantime, Magic the Gathering came out over the course of this autumn and winter, and we're seeing the beginnings of spring. I live in one of the wackiest places in America as far as weather goes. Well, as far as weather consistency goes, it does tend to always be the opposite of what you prepare for. Even if you think you know what the weather's going to be one day and you look up the weather forecasts, predictions, if you actually try to go out, go to university, well, I don't know how many college kids actually live on a university these days. You go to school, go to a museum, go to a mall downtown in this part of the country, and you think you know what the weather's going to be. It does have this in for you tendency to, as soon as you go outside again, be the opposite of what you prepare for. At least, relatively livable climate, but very poor consistency. Anyway, that's enough about that. So, Magic the Gathering came out with the Ixalan expansion sets, which finally have a lot of dinosaurs, particularly raptors. And if you know anything about me at all, not a lot of people do who don't watch my channel. I guess I've been kind of off to the side for a lot of my life. But I love raptors. Can't get enough of raptors. So I finally ordered enough cards to build an Ixalan Raptor deck. I'm going to show it to you. I was planning to go to a local shop tournament this Friday, and it was one of those really inconsistent weather days where the weather turned really untravelable through. So I'm going to have to wait for this coming Friday. Although it did give me the opportunity to test out this deck against my younger brother's deck. He actually plays a goblin deck. I'll let him come on my channel and show you his deck sometimes. Or maybe we'll just play a game. But we don't get a lot of time together. So this deck, I always use the light blue cyan sleeves. That's kind of my soul color, I guess. So this has 45 cards. I know Magic the Gathering uses decks of 60 cards unless you go to a draft tournament, which I think you can use 40 again. It's been a while since I went to a draft, but this has 45 cards. My brother and I were playing with smaller decks when we played. Well, actually, this brings something up. But the other 15 cards are in the sideboard right now, which is not usually how Magic the Gathering goes. But again, in playing against my brother this week, we were using smaller decks, and so I will just combine the 15 card sideboard in an official tournament with the 45 card deck when I actually get around to going. Hopefully, this Friday will work. So, let's talk about my Ixalan Raptor Attack deck. So, the first thing I did was take a look at what the dinosaur cards were and what mana they used. You choose mana to focus on. There are 5 lands in Magic the Gathering, 5 mana colors. Red for mountain, blue for island, white, which a lot of the art looks more yellow than white, but that's plains, black for swamp, and green for forest. And the colors you choose, decks typically revolve around one or two. More than that, well, certainly doable, is not that common, and you can play all 5 colors, but it is tricky to do so. So, a lot of the Ixalan Raptors, there weren't a lot of blue dinosaurs, although there are a couple of sea reptiles. But not a lot of blue prehistoric creatures. A lot of those are pirates. A lot of green dinosaurs, as you would expect. A couple raptors, not many. Most of them were mountain or plains. By far, most of them. So the first one I chose that I liked was the Relentless Raptor. That is awesome. Only costs 1 mountain and 1 plains to play. 1 red, 1 white. It's a 3 attack, 3 toughness dinosaur. They actually got around to calling them dinosaurs rather than lizards or beasts. I do have some of the older raptors I played from Urza's Saga, and older, not many, but I have a couple of those cards. Shivan Raptor, Ridgetop Raptor, and Frenetic Raptor. I have them. I can show you them sometime. But they're either called lizards or beasts. But these raptors are called dinosaurs, and hey, they actually have feathers. Jurassic Park movies? Learn something from this. So, I bought 3, well actually 4 Relentless Raptors. 1 is in the sideboard. Vigilance, and attacks or blocks each combat if able. So for 2 mana, 3/3 dinosaur, pretty awesome. And the 4th one is in the sideboard. And I am using a Yu-Gi-Oh mat here. It's the mat that came with the Saga of Blue Eyes White Dragon deck, which I added into my Kaiba character deck, and a couple of cards into my own personal deck. Yeah, I know this is about a Magic the Gathering deck, not Yu-Gi-Oh, but give me a break, I don't have a whole lot of mats. In fact, I might only have this one. Anyway. So, this is so far, this deck is not finished. I am going to be modifying it, but I had to kind of order the cards quickly because I was planning to go last Friday, which was yesterday. But the weather turned way too cold, way too stormy. And I had only learned of the Ixalan cards a couple weeks ago, so I had to spend a while picking cards, buying enough for the deck, and just putting 60 cards together in a somewhat playable deck soon enough for what would have been first tournament in a while yesterday, but we'll wait 1 week. And I did order some more now, so let's see. After Relentless Raptor, I looked through. I'll talk about the line a bit later. I did already say this was Mountain and Plains, so a red-white deck. I usually have in my Magic the Gathering deck some blue creatures, but not a lot of blue dinosaurs here, and no blue raptors, so... But this deck is not yet finished. I may have some blue in here. Ooh, okay, here we go. 3 Frenzied Raptor. More awesome artwork. So the artwork reminds me of, if anyone's read the novel Raptor Red by Robert Becker, it begins with a breeding pair of Utahraptor in, I think is it the early Cretaceous or late Cretaceous? North America. I'll look that up in a minute. The book begins by the two raptors attacking a sauropod on each side, actually much like this artwork. So that's pretty awesome. It's a bit more expensive to play than Relentless Raptor. Costs 1 more mana to play. It's mountain. It's 4 attack, 2 toughness, and also awesome. And just like Relentless Raptor, I do have a 4th in the sideboard. So 4 each of Relentless Raptor and Frenzied Raptor. Oh. Actually, there's the 4th Relentless Raptor. I must have decided to just keep all 4 of them in the deck anyway. So, yeah. Well, it's all the deck. It's just... Okay. So... Okay, I'm just sorting out a couple. I did shuffle this deck, so I gotta find a couple of the cards to show you all of them. Oh, for the moment, let's talk about one topic that did come up when I was playing with my brother. Since we were using smaller decks, this topic came up. This question: does Magic the Gathering trading card game really need 60-card decks? If you play Yu-Gi-Oh! Yu-Gi-Oh! Uses 40-card decks. Pokemon does use 60. Pokemon makes sense to use 60 because Pokemon is using a lot of energy cards in the decks, and you have to play the energy, and you distribute the energy among your Pokemon. So it needs a lot of cards, and if you're evolving Pokemon, you have to evolve them from the earlier stages to the middle evolution to the final evolution, unless you have a lot of cards that are either their first evolutionary stages are good, or you have the cards that don't need evolving, or you're using a lot of legendaries, which don't need evolving, though they are pretty energy hungry, but there are ways to do that now. But Pokemon makes sense to have 60-card decks. In Magic the Gathering, the mana, the land, are roughly analogous to Pokemon's energy cards, but when you play your mana, you have your mana pool, you're using the same over and over. You're not discarding them, you're not really distributing them. You're paying different ones each turn, but you get to keep the land. So, does Magic the Gathering really need 60-card decks? Cardfight Vanguard, I know, which I'm starting to build a deck in. 50 cards. I forget what Netrunner has. Trying to think of other trading card games. Legend of the Five Rings. Well, that's a whole different style of play altogether. That uses 2 small decks. So yeah, that's a different story. I think Magic the Gathering could easily go with just 40 or 50 card decks, but oh well. Okay, so Raptor Companion. These are awesome. It's a 3 attack, 1 toughness Raptor. 2 mana to play. 1 has to be plains. Otherwise awesome. I love the card text. The abundance of foes in Orazca means the Raptors no longer need any orders. That's the Rivals of Ixalan lore. Which is the second set. The Ixalan lore is A raptor will follow any order as long as that order is hunt, kill, or go for the guts. I'm not sure raptors need orders at all for that, but here's an awesome dinosaur support creature. Kinjali's Collar. Only one white mana to play. Dinosaur spells you cast cost one less mana to play. It's a human cleric, so it is a creature, which means if you have some of these, you don't have room for as many dinosaurs, but it makes your dinosaurs much easier to play. So several of these is good. I got 4 of them. I don't know if I'll end up needing all 4, but it's awesome. So Magic the Gathering spells mean any card you're playing. So creatures are creature spells. It's not like in Yu-Gi-Oh! Where there's just spell cards or spells. In Magic the Gathering, it's anything. So if it's labeled dinosaur, it's a dinosaur spell, and it benefits from that. And there's a red mana version as well. This I was only able to get 2 of. Otepec Huntmaster. It's basically a 1 more mana cost version of really the same thing. Oh, and you can also tap it. Target dinosaur gains haste until end of turn. The card ordering site, I ordered that from, was out of stock. I did visit the store to try to get them. They only had 2 for me to buy. I do want more of those because it is slightly better than Kinjali's Collar. Only takes 1 more mana, so that's okay. So 2 Imperial Pterosaur. Now I think I might get 3 or 4 of these. I really like this creature. It kind of looks like a interestingly, it looks like a cross between a fusion of winged raptor, kind of like a microraptor, and a pterosaur. And I also have 2 Kinjali Sunwing, which is definitely a pterosaur, but it has feathers. Pterosaurs did not have feathers. They had a little fur-like covering over their bodies, but they never evolved feathers. That was an alien dinosaur thing. Adaptation. Now, pterosaurs do have some shared ancestry with dinosaurs. They are more closely related to dinosaurs than most other creatures were. I think they're even closer to dinosaurs than crocodilians. But pterosaurs are gone. But they were not in any place in the bird lineage. So, but then again, this is for fantasy. I guess they can do whatever they want. So, artists. I might as well just show you the sideboard cards. This is going to get too chaotic if I try to keep them separated. So there's the 4th Frenzied Raptor. 2 more Raptor Companions. So that's 4 of them. The 2 more Kinjali's Collar. Oh, and I have another pterosaur creature. Majestic Heliopterus. This creature and Imperial Pterosaur both can give other dinosaurs the flying ability, which is amazing. I love flying creatures. So I might modify my deck to have more of a flying ability, but this is what I could build so far. I did get 2 Bellowing Aegisaur, and not 4, just 2. For being a bit of a wall for the toughness. So those aren't Raptor cards. I meant the Aegisaur. Okay. The land is going to be, well, pretty simple. Okay. I barely put any spell, there I did it. I barely put any non-creature spells into this deck. That may change. This is just the first version of the Ixalan deck. 4, because this is Raptor themed, 4 Slash of Talons. 1 white mana to play. Slash of Talons deals 2 damage to target attacking or blocking creature. And it is an instant. Instant is the Magic the Gathering equivalent of Yu-Gi-Oh's quick play spell cards. You can play them anytime, provided you have the mana to spend. For those, oh, I'm keeping this playmat up with the little Jurassic Park diecast figures. These are awesome. Came out in 1993. You can believe it, and they are amazing artwork. With the first Jurassic Park movie. The first Jurassic Park movie was just so awesome to go see in theaters, to be surprised by. And I did mix in the sideboard here, it just got too complicated. I will try to make a better video another time. 3 Thrash of Raptors. Is anyone surprised? So, this is a little bit more expensive, but that's what we have the Kinjali's Collar and Otepec Huntmaster for. 3 mana and then 1 mountain. As long as you control another dinosaur, which this deck has no problem doing, Thrash of Raptors gains +2 attack, +0 toughness, and has trample. This is so it's another dinosaur. It's 3 attack, 3 toughness, but can very quickly power itself up by just having more dinosaurs. And this deck is full of them. 2 Sun-Crowned Hunters. The most expensive Raptor this deck has so far. 6 mana to play. Again, that's where the Kinjali's Collar and Otepec Huntmaster come in. 4 of any kind and 2 mountain. Now, it has the Enrage ability, which I've been a little confused by, how to look into a bit more. It looks like Enrage only kicks in when the same creature is dealt damage by at least 2 different sources, at least 2 different cards in a single turn. I'll have to look at the specifics of that. But when Sun-Crowned Hunters is dealt damage, it deals 3 damage to target opponent. That is awesome. I think it has to be dealt damage by, what I've read, unless I missed something. It can't just be, your opponent can't just shock it and then the Enrage ability kicks in. It has to be at least 2 different sources. If I read right, I will see if I have, I will look that up. Now there is the card Polyraptor, which is a forest, a green mana raptor that creates more copies of itself when it's enraged, and I'm trying to figure out how to build a deck around that. Can't quite figure it out. I think I'm beginning to see, going through the Ixalan and Rivals of Ixalan cards on the Magic the Gathering site, how to do it. Polyraptor takes a lot of mana to summon first time, so it's I might go towards trying to do that, Or I might build a deck. It's not really my strategy. I'm much more the quick attack strategist rather than the swarm strategist, unless the deck already swarms as this does. But we will see if there's a deck that can make that work with any real reliability. Or I might just go with the Imperial Pterosaur ability and the increasing toughness a bit and giving the dinosaurs flying. I like that. I might try to build the Polyraptor strategy. I'm not quite sure how well it can be pulled off, but we will see. I did see a deck list that tried to do it, but didn't really seem to work out. When I tried to do a thought experiment of playing it out, Polyraptor is just really expensive. But this deck will be modified. 2 Unknown Shores. This might not be necessary for this deck, but it is what I have for right now. It's a land. Can tap it to add one. Actually, I'm not sure what that is. I do have more studying to do. That little diamond shape. But you can also pay 1 mana and then tap this card and add one mana of any color you want to your mana pool for the turn. So it is awesome. The artwork here is just amazing. I'm amazed how much detail the artists can fit into that little space. Now I know I have 4. There we go. 4 Evolving Wilds. It's pretty much the new version of Terramorphic Expanse, if anyone remembers that card. It's a land that you quickly play, you tap, and it lets you thin the deck by bringing another land instantly out. It's kind of like it's a terraforming, to use another Yu-Gi-Oh reference. It can also be a land in itself. You sacrifice it, search your library for a basic land card, put it onto the battlefield. So it's a terramorphing. It's a deck thinner land. Okay, almost done going through this deck. So if anyone has any suggestions of what to do for this deck before my next tournament, which will be in about a week, well, the first one I'll be able to go to was, again, tried to make one yesterday, really couldn't do it. 4 Stone Quarry adds either a mountain or plains to your mana pool, which this deck would thrive on. It's all either mountain or plains creatures. I might try to add some forest creatures in here. I don't know if this deck can handle any blue mana unless I really rework it. But there aren't a lot of blue dinosaurs here, so that's fine. So it's fine if I don't. But if I do add any forest dinosaurs, I did think to get 3 Rootbound Crags. This is an older artwork. That's cool. I tried to get the new artwork. The shop didn't have it. But it's the same card. It's the exact same card, so you can still use it in a standard deck because the exact same card has been reprinted, so yeah. And okay. These land cards all have the same artwork. So 6 plains and 6 mountain. That is the first version of my Ixalan Raptor attack deck as it stands now. give me your thoughts. I will let you know how it fares in a tournament as soon as I actually make one. I have ordered some new cards. We will see how those fit in. They won't come for a few days. I don't know if I'll make any changes to this deck yet, but I have looked at some more possibilities. So, that is my Raptor attack deck. Let me know what you think.